Welcome, everybody, to our first social studies lesson. First things first, make sure your shirts are tucked in and you're ready to go. All right, so you can tell we are on Tuesday, March 31st. Today's objective is to read Chapter 1, the idea of self-rule, and then we're going to answer 3 questions. If you're following along and you print it off the paper, you'll be right on the paper. However, if you haven't, you're going to notice we're going to be reading 2 rather short paragraphs. We'll discuss them and answer the questions. And here is how you can set up your paper if you're doing it on loose leaf. Lesson 1, you're going to put the date, number 1 through 3, leaving some space for answers. And the third question has 3 parts, so we're going to number it 1 through 3. And you can answer just on a piece of paper. Just make sure you're saving those papers when we come back together. That way we can collect them. All right, let's get back to our question. Starting off, Chapter 1, the idea of self-rule. Americans' belief in self-government got its start more than 200 years ago during a time when colonists in the 13 colonies became frustrated that they had no say in British government policies that were affecting their liberties. And we can remember when they say they had no say, remember the ideas of no taxation without representation. This idea was further developed by Thomas Jefferson when he wrote the Declaration of Independence, and these ideas were fought for during the American Revolution. These revolutionary ideas were then set down in the Constitution of the United States. So that's going to be our next chapter, getting into learning about the Constitution. But let's go in right now and answer our first question. Who wrote Declaration of Independence? Well, we can see it right there in the text. It is Thomas Jefferson. So I am going to record our first answer. If you're writing on your paper and it's printed out, just go ahead and write your answer on your line. If you're writing on your paper, you're going to write the answer next to your number 1, Thomas Jefferson. All right, we're going to scroll down and we will continue working here on our second part. One of the ideas Jefferson wrote about is that all men are created equal. Of course, Jefferson didn't mean that every person has equal abilities. He certainly didn't mean that all people can run equally fast or jump equally high, or that each person is good in math or science or music as every other person. And that is definitely true because I am not musically talented. I am not a fast runner, and I really, really, really wish I could jump high. No, what Jefferson meant is that each person is born with the same rights as any other. Jefferson wrote that some of these rights were unalienable. Remember, it doesn't mean anything about aliens from outer space. Unalienable means things that should not be taken away. That means that no one, not a king or anyone else, can take them away. He wrote that these unalienable rights include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So what did Jefferson mean when he wrote Declaration of Independence? That all men are created equal? Well, we can go up here in the text, and it says that every person is born with the same rights as any other. So everyone, all people are born with, I'm going to go back here, the same rights as everyone else. I apologize for the messy writing. I'll show you a neater version in a moment. Right on the computer screen is not the easiest. All people are born with the same rights as everyone else. List the 3 unalienable rights that Jefferson wrote about. Here they are. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I'll quickly show you how it might look if you wrote it on your own. On a sheet of paper, it could look like this. Thomas Jefferson meant that everyone should have the same rights: the right to life, right to liberty, and the right to pursue happiness.